So today focusing with Python. It is actually a high level language. So when we say high level language, it's easy to use, it's easy to understand because it uses the English word syntax. Okay, so you'll easily understand the code because most of the syntax, the words is in English. Cool, right? Yeah, that's why it's easy to learn. Okay, now that you know what Python is, let's move forward to the game. So, what is the game all about for today? So, it's actually about SpongeBob, but the main focus or main concepts of Python that you'll be learning are classes, functions, and variables. So, we'll be learning about these three, and then also how combining them will create a game. Okay, and also we will convert media files into program. So of course we need media files like pictures, images, and background music to make our game more interactive. Okay, and we'll do that here as well. And lesson objectives, so we are going to learn about randomization, classes, conditions, and loops in Python. Okay, so these are the concept, and of course, we will learn how to control object movement and process user feedback to their movement. Okay, because of course, if it's a game, the user or the player should control it. And in this case, we are the player or the user. Let me hear it from Sophie. Can you kindly read what is our goal for today?
We'll design a 2D game in Python using Pygame library. In this game, we'll have a character collecting random floating objects around the screen to score points.
That's right. So our game is about SpongeBob collecting a Krabby Patty. I'll show it to you. Okay, here it is. The team is SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob will collect random Krabby Patties, moving around the restaurant to score points. So one Krabby Patty is equivalent to 1 point, and we will use mouse motion to control our character, of course. Okay, we are not going to use any keys here like in Scratch. You can use left, right, up, down, right? Today we'll be using our mouse. I'll show you the complete project first. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. So the one that you see on your screen is what we call the Python shell or the idle. Okay, basically this is our text editor. This is where we code. Okay, this is where we type our code like that. You type your code, and this is also where you test it. So this is the code. I know what you're thinking. It looks complicated. It has a long lines of code, but don't worry, I'll explain it later. I'll just run it now. Okay, so this is the game looks like. This is SpongeBob located on your lower right side. We can move him using our mouse. So I'm gonna move him now like that, and we'll collect all the Krabby Patty here. Now look at the score here. Hey SpongeBob, you collected 138 Krabby Patties. So it gets updated whenever you collected a patty. Okay, now our current score is, look at that, 199. We only have one left, and that's it, 200. We were able to collect 200 Krabby Patties. Okay, so that's it. I know the game is simple, but this is just an introduction to Pygame. You can create more than this. Now let's go back into the code. So how's the game? What can you say about the game? Well, yes, Louisiana.
It looked pretty fun to do, especially that there's many Krabby Patties, and they're small, so it's a little bit more difficult to collect them all.
Now I have here the templated code. So template meaning it's there already. Okay, I'll just explain so you'll have an idea. Okay, now the first part, everyone, look on your screen. I'm gonna explain the code now. This one, you see, it says import pygame, import random, import math. These are library. Okay, so when we say library, it's like a real library. We actually have a lot of books or modules, okay, in Python. So we can borrow a book. So let's say, for example, you are in the library, you want to borrow a book in mathematics. We know that there are a lot of books in a library, but you need to specify which type of book for which subject you want to use, right? Same thing here in Python. We want to use the math module, the random module, the pygame module. So these are the books of our Python. So we can borrow them using the code by calling them import pygame, import random, import math. So we are borrowing these modules from the Python library. Next is, look at this part here. It says black, white, yellow, and screen with screen height and size.
So the black, white, and yellow probably like the colors of the background and the screens.
Right.
Size is probably the size of the game.
Exactly, you are correct. You got the correct answer. So basically, this block of code is for setting up the screen, okay? The height and the width, how tall, how long you want your screen. Okay, so that's the code for that one. Next part is this one. I want you to look at this part here. It says pygame.init. Init, it means initialization. Okay, so here we are actually setting up a clock. You see, we have a clock here. Later, you'll understand more what is this for, but it's actually a variable. Okay, so variable is like a storage. We are storing information there. Okay, so in this case, clock, because we'll have a timer later. And then what else? The screen title as well. So if you didn't notice, we had a title earlier that says a day at Krusty Krab. Next part that I want you to know, this one. Okay, it says the BG image pygame cover. Basically, this is for the background. Okay, earlier you see the output. You saw the output inside the Krabby Patty restaurant. This is where you declare it. So in this case, we just name the picture as cover. Okay, so this code is for the background. So what do you think is this block of code for? Yes, Noah.
I think it's for the picture and the music.
Yes, so the first square on top, that's the background, the image, the picture. And then the last one, you are correct. This is for the music. And lastly, we have here the loop. Okay, so this is the loop. Do you know what a loop is? Anyone? Sophia, Vian, do you know what a loop is?
Going up and down.
Going up and down.
Going
Close enough. Round and circle. Yeah, close enough. Yeah. So actually, loop is what makes the action repeats itself again and again. Okay? Now, what I'll show you is how to add. I'll be adding the players and the characters now, because as you can see, we only have the background, the sound. Okay. So I have here a list as well as another loop. Okay, I have mentioned earlier that we do have many types of loop. The first loop that you saw is the while loop. The second one is a for loop. Okay, it's a loop. It will repeat things, however, with a certain amount or a certain limit. In this case, for I in range 200, that means we want our Krabby Patty to multiply or to repeat itself, to clone itself 200 times. One more code we're missing. All sprite update. This is for updating all the sprite that we have, Krabby Patty and SpongeBob, because we just added them. Okay, and lastly, so don't worry too much about the code. We are not going to discuss it like line by line. All you need to know is the concept, what are the variables, the randomization, the classes. Okay, so randomization, that one will give position to your Krabby Patty randomly, because as you saw with the output earlier, they are in random places floating around the screen, right? So here, the code here is for the score. Okay, basically the meaning of this one is you will earn 1 point, your score earlier. Remember, we declared a score variable and it's a storage, right? So whenever you touches a Krabby Patty, the score will be updated to +1. So we are done with the project. We were able to create SpongeBob SquarePants.